things that I really can't tell you, what size and when to become a business. That's something you'd want to speak with an actual accountant with, or CPA, and get the actual information from them depending on where you're at and your circumstances and situation. To give you a rough idea though, I was listening to a podcast. Tyrone had spoke about Tyrone Jackson, Wealthy Investor, the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Put a little thing right here, you can check that out. Anyway, I listened to his podcast, and he spoke to start a corporation down there, roughly around 100,000 you'd be generating like from your company. So before you take it to a corporation, similar to what you would in any kind of normal business, you go up to that size. But again, you'd have to. This is something you want to check out for yourself. And also, he listened to him about the differences, showing the difference between like owning a conventional business or one type of business and what it would be like generating money from stocks. And this was the whole reason, like, I'm going to share the story with you, but from him. But this is something that before Tyrone, this is something I realized as well. And this was the whole reason why I decided to go after trading stocks. It wasn't like I enjoy trading stocks. It wasn't something my passion ever since I've ever been bored. No, really didn't like it in the beginning. Anyway, different story. So I'm just going to share this with you. Think about this. If you went to start a business, let's say you want to start a restaurant. What's something you're going to have to do? Okay, first, you're going to have to buy the building. That's right. So you're going to have some money to buy the building. So, buy the building, you go in, check it all out. It's going to have to be redone a little bit. You're going to have to remodel, maybe change some seats around, buy some seats. You're going to have to do a little bit of stuff to it. Maybe bring some machines in, some coffee makers and stuff like that. So you're going to have some redoing stuff over. Well, that's going to cost some money as well. So you're going to put that into there. Okay, and on top of that, now what's the next step you're going to have to do? Well, you have a building structure. Now you're going to have to get the permits. If you didn't do this before you bought it, but you're going to have to get some permits. Then you're going to have to get some licenses. You're going to start selling food. So now you got to go through a health inspection. They're going to have to come down and make sure that after everything's all set in place, that it's done to a certain way. So you have to deal with that. And that'll be a monthly ongoing thing as well. And then after you get your place all set up, well, now you're going to need some inventory. Can't sell nothing if you haven't got nothing. So you're going to have to order all the food and all that stuff and find your suppliers and where you're going to have to get that from. Now, here's one of the biggest things too as well is you're going to have is employees, because you can't do this all yourself. So you're going to have some employees. So you hire some employees. Now, you're into a different world when you go to employees as well, because now you have to deal with compensation. So now you're going to have to pay compensation into compensation, CPP, all that stuff, all the accounting and all that stuff. So now you're going to have to deal with all that. Now you have to do a scheduling once you get over a certain amount of employees, and what days they get off, and all this and that. And then as well, retention, to be able to keep the employees. Because you're going to pay them just enough to stay, and they're going to stay and work just hard enough depending on what you pay them. And really, as an employee, you can never be paid your worth. But anyway, sorry, that's separate. So yeah, if you're going to have employees, that's going to cost you some money there. Now on top of that, now you're going to have some taxes. Once you start generating income, you're going to have to pay taxes, property taxes, and no doubt it's going to be a little bit because you're not going to be out in the middle of the woods somewhere. You're going to be somewhere local. So you're going to have to start paying some property taxes. Okay, now that is just getting out of the gate to get started. Now every month, you're going to have these recurring charges as well. Plus, look after all this yourself, or hire a team. Is what you should be doing, is hire a team, because then that'll help you look after and manage everything. But you're going through all of this. You're going to show a profit the first month? Not likely. Not likely going to show that for the first 6 months? Not likely either. It could be a year to 2 to 3 before maybe you even show a profit. That's like going through all this in the run of a month. At the end of the month, because this is the goal in a business, is to generate income every month. And usually the dream of a business owner is to be able to someday sell that and retire. At the end of the month, that money coming in, you go through all this and must have that money coming in every month. And it might take you a year or so before you start to generate positive cash flow. After all the expenses and stuff are taken away, that number at the bottom is positive. It could be a while before you see that. Now, compare that to trading stocks. I can start out with $3,000. That's what I did. I think in the beginning, started with $3,000, started generating $75 a month. No employees. None of any of this stuff. None of it. Just some education on what to do, a financial education. And be able to go in and rent that stock out for the month, and then come back and do it again the next month, or sell it at a higher rate, whatever we agreed on in the beginning. Anyway, that is some of the comparison, the differences, and why I admire people who start businesses. I see how now that I know, there's such more that goes on behind businesses than you'd ever imagine. So you start seeing behind them how much the work and the passion that people put into these things. So I'm lazy as hell. I cannot see myself ever doing that. But what I can do is learn how to invest in these people and learn how to invest in companies and to try to help and support as many as I can. To start learning and thinking about generating passive income for themselves, even if they are a business and running a business as well, just to start thinking different on how to make your business generate passive monthly income. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you, and thanks for checking out the channel.